Say, did you know this theater was haunted? That has been said of just about every theater in existence, said Mark Dawidziak, a Cuyahoga Falls resident and author. He regaled the audience at the Kent Stage October 23rd on the ghost stories he has heard, including at the Kent Stage and the Akron Civic Theater.
Paul Stieg was the custodian and mechanic at the Civic all the way back from when it opened as the Paramount in the 1930s. He stayed on duty until his death, and he told somebody shortly before his death he would always be at the Civic. This is a very friendly presence. Anybody who feels the presence at the top of those stairs does not feel frightened. There is a presence, however, in the projection booth, and that presence is very businesslike, very much duty-like. That's what people feel when they feel that presence. It's a no-nonsense spirit. Not a mean spirit, but a no-nonsense spirit.
Afterwards, guests were given a brief tour of the Kent Stage and told about the various spirits that still linger there. Most of the staff and volunteers had at least one personal story to share about an eerie encounter.
I put my hand on the doorknob and I went to turn it so I could go down there, like right into my back, and then I was like maneuvered around and then propelled is the only word that I could probably use, across the stage, down the steps, up this aisle, and out, and I stopped in front of the bar area, and I wasn't just like walking or anything like that. I was actually at a very odd angle, kind of leaning way back, and I felt like Mr. Natural. If any of you younger guys won't know that, but there used to be a cartoon called Mr. Natural, and he was always leaning back. That's what it was like. I couldn't stop myself, and I couldn't get turned around enough to see anything behind me. So it was really strange. Anyway, I was out there and I was just sort of taking in the experience, like, whoa, what happened, you know, kind of thing. And Tom came through the DePeyster doors, and he was pretty excited. He was like yelling for me, and I said, I'm right here, and he's like, oh my God. I just remembered on the way over that I ran an extension cord and put these space heaters by the main water lines down in the tunnel like 2 days ago because the temperature was dropping and I didn't want the water pipes to break. And he said, I was afraid that you were going to be like electrocuted.
One guest at the talk had a rather interesting incident happen to him that very evening.
So at the beginning of Mark's speech tonight, I was sitting in the audience listening to him, and I was sitting next to my friend Tom, and right about near the beginning of the speech, all of a sudden I felt this very distinct tap on my shoulder on the side that Tom was sitting, so I turned to him to ask, you know, what do you want? And he was paying no attention to me. He was looking at Mark, leaning the other direction in the chair. There was nobody sitting behind me. And it was a very small event, but obviously something had tapped me right as Mark had started his speech. Might have been the little boy running down the aisle, might have been Woody, I don't know.